When I was diagnosed with a benign brain tumor in late July 2009, suddenly there were many arrangements to be made. Surgery in Arizona to schedule, plane tickets to Phoenix to buy, rental car and hotel rooms to reserve. My parents worked on these. I was going to be gone for most of August, likely 2 weeks in Phoenix, then some recovery time in Southern California. My neighbors would keep an eye on my house and cats. Michelle Reichelderfer would teach my 4-5 class, and my friends, the Kasproviaks, would take my dog, Elvis Costello. 10 years ago, Elvis had been living on the streets of Humboldt County in Northern California and was a year or two old when I took him in. A few months later, my then 8-year-old foster daughter, now teenage daughter, Carla, joined our little family. Friends in Humboldt County offered to take Carla for the rest of the summer, so she had to quit her day camp and restaurant jobs, quickly pack, and head south. The Kasproviaks also have 2 adopted shelter dogs, Alice and Zoe. At first, the addition of Elvis was hard, but eventually it all worked out. As my 1 brain surgery turned into 4 because of complications, including a stroke, it became clear that I wouldn't be back home anywhere near the end of August. My friends in Humboldt registered Carla at the local high school for her junior year. My neighbors would continue to keep an eye on my house and cats. But school was starting and the Kasproviaks couldn't keep my dog. A call went out to Muddy Creek Charter School where I taught for a new place for Elvis. The Fairbanks family volunteered to add him to their crew. Carla came up during Thanksgiving break and we went to visit Elvis at the Fairbanks' house. It took him a while to remember us. I was still in a wheelchair full-time and wasn't able to get out of my mom's car, but Elvis eventually came over to the open passenger door and said hello. A few days later, the Fairbanks' house was gone. The kids and pets were all safe. Even in the midst of their own trauma, the Fairbanks continued to try to help find someone to care for Elvis. He bounced around a bit while we looked for another foster home for him. Then the Heartland Humane Society came to our rescue. They took Elvis in through their foster care program. Carla visited him at the shelter during Christmas break. A few weeks later, after my daughter decided to stay in Humboldt County and finish high school down there, I visited him at the shelter, but only when I knew that he and I would be able to move back into our house, even with Carla's change of plans, because I had recovered enough from my stroke to take care of him and myself. When I came into Heartland with my walker, every staff member had a story or a few kind words to tell me about Elvis. I had felt so guilty about putting him through all of this, but he was so happy and well cared for. I was and still am overwhelmed with appreciation for what Heartland did for him, and for me. He stayed at the shelter for a while they waited for a foster home to become available. Now we're back in our own house, and both of us are feeling more and more like ourselves after a year of trauma. After so much time in a hospital bed in a wheelchair, I like to sit quietly on my couch. Elvis likes to lay under the dining room table or on the floor near wherever I'm sitting. I wonder what he thinks about. I think about all of the people who've helped us to get where we are, and how glad I am to have Elvis's company. I came so close to losing it so many times. I want to be able to take Elvis for a walk again, just me and him. Until then, I'm so thankful for everyone who has held his leash for me in the last year and who continue to do so. Those folks have allowed us to be home.